Good evening. Today is October 7, 2016, and this is the feast day of Our Lady of the Rosary, and this is the little room of yours truly, Arthur Denchfield, also known as Arturos Rex on Twitter. Unfortunately, my YouTube account, Arturos Rex, has been terminated, and perhaps your prayers will help open it again. Lots of miracles recorded there, recent modern miracles, for the greater glory of God that you should know about, and apparently somebody was offended by some of the information on videos that were over 2 years old. They complained to YouTube, and I got some strikes, and finally was terminated. It's amazing. At any rate, here we have a statue of Our Lady of Fatima in front of us. We've talked about that every time, and the two photos at her feet are St. Teresa, the Infant Jesus and the Holy Face, also known as St. Teresa this year, and also St. Charbel Makhlouf, patron saint of Lebanon. He's leaning against the mulatto saint statue of St. Martin de Porres, whose name I took from my confirmation name, May 1st, 1959, when I was a junior at Pleasantville High School, New York. So I can't be accused of being an anti-black racist, because I'm probably the only white man, the white Catholic in the whole world, that's taken the name of a black or a mulatto saint before he was even canonized. And of course, St. Martin de Porres has helped me a lot. First miracle actually was winning the chess tournament on the last day of Pleasantville High School there in June, when J. Edgar Hoover of the FBI gave an important speech to the high school concerning China. St. Martin de Porres, pray for us. Above Our Lady, as we said before, is the Holy Face of Jesus from the Holy Shroud of Turin. And that's the moment of the resurrection of Jesus, when he came through the shroud like an X-ray. He had impassibility before and after his death and after his resurrection, and the shroud collapsed on him as he went right through it. And that's like the fifth gospel. And the photograph on the right is a color photo of Our Lady of Fatima's International Pilgrim Virgin statue that wept in New Orleans in 1972. That's the same statue I saw in Recife, Brazil in 1952, when Father Patrick Peyton brought it for all the school children to see. And I was one of tens of thousands of Catholic school children bused downtown Recife to see this image, who gave us an extraordinary grace. And this picture was taken in 1973 at the national headquarters of the Brazilian Society for the Defense of Tradition, Family, and Property, TFP for short, in Sao Paulo, Brazil, in the presence not only of the founder, Plinio Cordeiro de Veda, but two imperial royal princes, Prince Louis and Prince Bertrand of Orléans Braganza, both descendants of King St. Louis IX of France. Don Louis was born in France in 1938, and Don Bertrand was born in France in 1941. And both of these princes, they are pretenders of the imperial throne of Brazil. Their great-grandfather was an emperor, and he was displaced, so to speak, by Republican revolution. Not the Republican Party, but a republic form of government. And now Brazil has a chance of restoring her imperial monarchy, and we ask Our Lady of Fatima to help make that happen. And here's the golden lion rampant on the red field. That's the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Jesus Christ, the Lion of the tribe of Judah. That's a symbol of monarchy, and it's the heraldic symbol of monarchy that's over 1,000 years old. And it's also the symbol of the autonomous societies for the defense of tradition, family, and property. That is an anti-communist civic society of Catholic inspiration, of which I happen to be, I'm privileged to be one of the 5 founding members of the American Society for the Defense of Tradition, Family, and Property. We started in 1972, and we were incorporated in 73 or 74. And it's a long story, and you can go to tfp.org to find the history of the TFP. Extraordinary. And way over to the left is a painting put out by AmericanEatsFatima.org of St. Michael the Archangel with his sword unsheathed on top of the world, about to slay many, many millions of people for the sins that cry out to heaven for vengeance, especially the sins of abortion. And below is a vision, June 13, 1929 vision in Tui, Spain, of the Most Holy Trinity and Our Lady of Fatima to a Catholic nun. asking that the Holy Father, in union with all the bishops in the world, consecrate Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary in order for there to be world peace. That should have been done in 1930, and it was not. 8 popes, including Francis, have disobeyed God, and over 2.5 billion people with a B have died unnecessarily between 1930 and 2016. Most of these deaths were through legal abortions, which is murder and is a sin that cries out to heaven for vengeance. Now we go down a little further. We see the cross on top of the world. It's actually the cross on top of South America, on top of the land of the Holy Cross, where I was born, also known in Brazil. And the word repent is a word that we should all keep in our minds. And also we ask God to give us the grace of a true repentance. And there's a book about the end. We recommend that everybody get that book. It's usually available in the supermarkets or drugstores. Fact or fiction about the possibility of a meteor or something from outer space hitting the earth and all that, which is always a possibility. And it seems to be more and more probable with the appearance of Planet X, also known as Nibiru. And we say to you that Nibiru or Planet X comes around planet Earth every 3,600 years. Very interesting. I was born in 3642, and the star Arcturus is 36 light years away from Earth, and that's my name, Arcturus Rex, Latin for King Arthur. Anyway, here's on the right side. We've shown this to you before. This is my father's degree from Notre Dame du Lac University, better known to Americans as Notre Dame. That's where he went to school and got his degree in February of 1929 at Notre Dame du Lac University, Our Lady of the Lake University, and it was Our Lady of the Lake who received Excalibur, the sword of King Arthur, after King Arthur died in that battle, that great battle against Mordred in the sea. It was in 542 A.D. Interesting. He died in 542, and I was born in 1942. And over there to the left, on top of my total gym, thanks to Chuck Norris and Christy Brinkley, I use the total gym almost daily. It's an extraordinary way to stay in shape. And that's Holy Roman Emperor Charlemagne, sitting on top of my total gym over there. Now I'm going to go over to the other side and say some words to you about today. Today is a very important day. Today is an anniversary date. It was on this day, October 7, 1571, thanks to a holy crusade against Islam, that the Catholic forces defeated the Islamic forces in the naval battle of Lepanto on the 7th of October, 1571. And Pope St. Pius V, he organized this crusade, and he had the whole Catholic world pray the Rosary daily. And he commissioned Don Juan of Austria to take military responsibility for the whole crusade, and he was a tremendous fighter. He insisted that all the Catholic sailors go to confession before going on board, and everyone had to be in a state of grace. And that's the formula to success, is for the soldiers to be united to God through the grace of God by the means made available to them by the church, and so God can intervene. And that's what happened. It happened at the Battle of Lepanto, October 7, 1571. The Catholic League that was outnumbered by Ali Pasha's Islamic force, they received help from heaven. The Catholics did not see Our Lady above their sails throwing back arrows and cannonballs, but the Muslim fighters, they did. And they were interrogated after the battle was over, and the Catholic scribes of the different royal scribes on board, they interrogated these prisoners of war. By the way, all the rowers of the Muslim ships were Catholics. They were Catholic slaves, and they were all freed after the triumph of God over the enemy. Anyway, the Muslim warriors who were interviewed, they asked the Catholic scribes, who was that terrible-looking woman on top of your sails throwing back our cannonballs and throwing back arrows at us? Who was she? The Catholic scribes did not know what these men were talking about, because Our Lady did not appear to them, but she only appeared to the enemy as a great warrior. And the Catholics had to fight the good fight. And Our Lady expected the Catholics to do their job. They had to fight the good fight with their hands and their wits, and they had to fight to win. And they did fight, and they did win. And of course, when the Pope heard about this great victory, he heard about it before everybody else knew about it. He declared October 7 to be a feast day of Our Lady of the Rosary. Eventually, that's the title of it that we know today, Our Lady of the Rosary. And now we're having a tremendous rosary here shortly outside of Little Flower Church at 7:30, and I hope to go there. And there'll be a great rosary rally. There are 16,000 rosary rallies taking place in the United States of America on the 15th of October. And I hope to be in one of them here in Coral Gables. That's 16,000 different rosary rallies with anywhere from 5 to 200 people in each rally. And the number of Hail Marys that were prayed at the last great rosary rally was over 53 million. That's right. And now we hope to top that with a higher number. So there are millions and millions of Hail Marys going to heaven all the time, but especially through these rosary rallies, asking the Mother of God, the Mother of Jesus, to intervene for the saving of America. America is in great, great danger of being taken over by the enemy. And we want to take this opportunity right here to talk about no al plebiscito. No, no, y no. There was a plebiscite in Colombia, something engineered by the Castro brothers and the progressive Catholics in Colombia and Cuba, to have the Colombians vote plebiscite, which would have made a false peace between the Colombian people and the FARC terrorist group. And the tactics used by the communists and socialists were the tactics denounced by Plinio Correa de Rivera when he wrote Ideological Transshipment and Dialogue a long time ago. And the word that they use is the word dialogue. Whenever you hear any cleric say we have to dialogue, or any politician say we must dialogue about this, rest assured that you are being asked to compromise on principle. And there is a very important principle. Evil has no rights. Abortion, communism, and sodomy are intrinsically evil. Therefore, abortion, communism, and sodomy have no rights. How is it that a candidate for president of the United States has had at least 3 abortions? That is Hillary Rodham Clinton. She had at least 3 abortions, according to Bill Clinton's former girlfriend, Sally Miller. Bill Clinton told his girlfriends everything about his wife, and in a moment of candor, he told Sally Miller that his wife had 3 abortions. And then they decided to have a child for political purposes, and that's when Chelsea Clinton was born. It was a political move to make them look more presidential for the future. And now she's running for office. And it's outrageous to think that the White House is going to be run by somebody who killed and murdered their own children, unborn though they be. They still have the right to life. That's in the Constitution. Every American has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And life begins at conception. That's been proven time and again by scientists, and of course that's been declared as the moral teachings of the Catholic Church since time immemorial. So I say to you now, if I were Pope, every Catholic who voted Hillary Clinton for president would be automatically excommunicated from the Holy Catholic Church. And every archbishop and every bishop in the United States of America should excommunicate Catholic politicians who vote for abortion in any way whatsoever. And that includes Senator Tim Kaine from Virginia. He says he's pro-life in his personal life, but he's willing to go along with the Hillary Clinton abortion plan. He should be excommunicated by his bishop, no longer be permitted to receive Holy Communion. And the same thing should happen to Pelosi, Joe Biden, and Pelosi and other politicians in Washington who call themselves Catholic and give a very bad example in their support for abortion rights. As I said, evil has no rights. Abortion is intrinsically evil, and therefore abortion has no rights. And so we say to you Catholics, if remember the words, I don't know if you saw the movie A Man for All Seasons, but when Thomas More was talking to, St. Thomas More was talking to the man who eventually became the Chancellor of England, he said something like this, what profit is it for a man to gain the whole world but to lose his soul in the process? But for Wales? In other words, he was mocking the man who had sold his soul for just to become a dignitary of Wales and England back in the time of Henry VIII. That's in the Bible. What does it profit you, a Catholic, in the year 2016 to lose your soul for what? For voting a woman as President of the United States who happens to favor many, many evils that are condemned by the Catholic Church, including abortion, partial birth abortion, and same-sex marriage, and so on and so forth. Don't forget that it was in 1975 that Hillary Clinton, as a young attorney, defended a rapist who raped a 12-year-old girl, a virgin. Her name is Kathy Shelton, and she's in her 50s now. And she defended the rapist and got him off with her words. And she knew that he had raped this girl, and Hillary Rodham made this 12-year-old girl look terrible and guilty, and yet she was a virgin and she didn't know what was going on. It was so new. All this stuff was new to her, all this legalese, although she had been raped and beaten by this man and his associate and left in a coma and suffered for months afterwards getting over this. And her life has never been the same. How can this same Hillary Rodham, who's now Hillary Rodham Clinton, be running for the presidency of these United States of America, when she and her husband, Bill Clinton, a serial rapist, was enabled time and again by his wife, Hillary Rodham Clinton, and the women who crossed Bill Clinton's life and got involved with him sexually, every one of them was persecuted by Hillary Rodham Clinton and smeared. And their stories are finally coming out. One of them is a book called The Other Woman by Dorothy Kyle, I believe her name is. It's extraordinary the things that have happened. And yet the American people, thanks to massive voter fraud and the voting of illegal aliens, ICE has told Donald Trump that they cannot stop the illegal aliens from voting because that is what Obama wants. He wants tens of thousands of illegal aliens to vote Democratic in the presidential elections, as does the governor of Virginia, McAuliffe. He's given all the felons the right to vote, and that's about 200,000 felons in the state of Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. Is the United States committing suicide? It seems that it is. It's on a suicide trajectory. And the tragedy is all of this could have been avoided if the Holy Father in 1930 had done this. He had obeyed God's 1929 request, which I've shown you here. This is God the Father, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus on the cross, Our Lady Fatima and Sister Lucia dos Santos in Tui, Spain. June 13, 1929, the apparitions of Fatima were declared valid by the Catholic Church 13 years later in 1930, and that's the year that the Holy Father, Pius XI, should have done his job. Consecrate Russia in union with all the bishops in the world for the sake of world peace. In 1930, Joseph Stalin would have lost his power in Russia. There would have been no Holodomor, no artificial killing of between 9 and 11 million Ukrainians in 1932 and 33. And that's why we have the trident right here. This is the symbol of Ukraine, the trident. That's my name, Arthur Denchfield III. There would have been no Spanish Civil War involving millions and clergy, nuns and priests killed right and left. There would have been no World War II. Hitler would not have been elected Chancellor of Germany because he needed the Catholic vote to get in, and he had his brown shirts burn down the Reichstag in Berlin and blame it on the communists, and that's how the Catholics voted for him. That wouldn't have happened. He would not have been elected. And so on it goes. And the whole world practically has gone communist, including these United States of America, thanks to the progressive, liberal socialist who put such a Trojan horse, such a Manchurian candidate as Barack Hussein Obama in the White House. A man who has declared by his own lips that he was born in Kenya. There's a video to that effect on YouTube where he, in a speech, I think in Egypt, he says, yes, I was born in Kenya, so what? It just shows how open-minded the American people are, that they voted an African-born man, and so on. And the media, time and again, they have not reported the truth on this. Instead, they throw out labels. Oh, you're just a birther. The first birther was Barack Hussein Obama, who declared that he was born in Kenya in his publications until the year 2007. And now everything's changed. Oh no, he's born in Hawaii, and if you dare to question that, you're a racist. Oh, that's so lame. That's terrible. The whole United States is going to be sacrificed over the word racism. And look what's happening in the name of racism. And what's happening in the name of racism is that white America is being persecuted and it's being killed right and left selectively by Black Lives Matter attacks, knockout game attacks, which have been talked about, and you can see the videos. Anyway, today is a very special day. Today is the day that we have to thank God for this tremendous victory in Colombia, because against all the odds, no al plebiscito, los colombianos ganaron la victoria contra el plebiscito de los Castros, de los comunistas y socialistas y progresistas. Ganaron la victoria a pesar de todo. Y fue una gran sorpresa para el mundo. ¿Cómo es posible una victoria así? Es posible porque la Virgen María estaba atrás de ellos. And former President Uribe did a tremendous job. And we salute Mr. Uribe, and we salute all the Colombians who voted no in that plebiscite. Again, we say to you Catholic voters, you cannot in good conscience vote anybody into office who believes in the sin of abortion. And there's one candidate who has killed people. Donald Trump, he may have insulted some people, but those are words. Donald Trump's words are different than Hillary Rodham Clinton's deeds. When she was Secretary of State, she was responsible for the security of the Benghazi, the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, and she did not come to the rescue of those 4 men who begged for help, and they were killed after fighting for 13 hours. And the military wanted to save them, but the military was told to stand down by whom? By an Iranian-born Muslim who in the White House, Valerie Jarrett, she gave the stand down order. And General Ham and others, they were ready to go, and he was fired on the spot because he wanted to go anyway and save those Americans. This is outrageous, the things that have happened. And Islam is through Sharia law and creeping Sharia and everything else, and all the court cases that are going on, is making advances all over America. And so is communism through Black Lives Matter. And that's why we need that Donald John Trump and Mike Pence become the president and vice president of these United States in the coming elections. And we challenge Martha Raddatz and Mr. Anderson to ask Hillary Clinton during the presidential debate, Mrs. Clinton, for the sake of transparency, would you please tell the American people how many abortions you have had? Have her admit on the air how many abortions she's had. Nobody in the press has ever asked that question of her. Why not? And about her Parkinson's disease, she's on number 3, going on 4. I mean, why is she not scrutinized about her health? And why is the Clinton Foundation getting off with stealing hundreds of millions of dollars from the Haitians after their country was destroyed by an earthquake that killed 200,000 of them? After the earthquake, the Clinton Foundation put their 800 number on television, and hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars from all over the world came to the Clinton Foundation to help the Haitians out. Well, very little of that money, if any, saw Haiti at all, except to finance some projects of the donors in parts of Haiti that were not affected by the earthquake. Will Anderson Cooper and also Martha Raddatz ask Hillary Clinton about the role of the Clinton Foundation in defrauding the Haitian people of tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars? Will they dare to do that? Or ask her about abortions? Hardly. I don't think so. Again, you U.S. bishops, you are on the spot. If you give communion to people like Congresswoman Pelosi, Vice President Joe Biden, and Maria Shriver, and Senator Tim Kaine and others who believe that abortion is okay, it's a woman's right, reproductive right, you will have to pay a terrible price, and it's not worth it. You bishops and archbishops, you have failed in your job as good shepherds. You have the job to denounce evil, a public evil, such as a public person, Catholic, doing something bad has to be denounced by the bishop, the local bishop. Again, if I were Pope, I would excommunicate all the politicians who call themselves Catholic who have in any way agreed with abortion. But I'm not Pope. So the wrath of God is right around the corner, and according to the Fatima prophecies, Russia will annihilate entire nations. Russia has a great mission, and it's very interesting that Vladimir Putin now has the Russian soldiers. They have veneration to the Blessed Sacrament, and they're allowed to have holy cards and prayer books in school, and now the Russians are trying to get rid of abortion, whereas the Americans, thanks to this progressive socialist cabal that controls politics through the media and illegal aliens and so on, they're doing just the opposite. And it won't take much to destroy the United States. The Russians have a plan to send some missiles on the Grand Canyon, and that'll kill about 100 million Americans. And then the North Koreans, what they can do with the West Coast, with a couple atomic bombs there, it's just outrageous how suicidal the United States has gotten thanks to these progressive socialist leftists who are part of the Democratic Party, which is really doing the work of the devil. And that's why we say to you, you have to see Hillary's America by Dinesh D'Souza, and you have to also read Clinton Cash. You have to read Dick Morris's book Armageddon. You have to read The Other Woman by Miss Kyle, and so on and so forth. But it doesn't seem to matter. How many millions of books and programs and films are made? Inexorably, it seems that America is heading towards doom. And that's why we ask the Catholics, Do your job. Stand back and don't jump in and commit this terrible public sin, which is to vote for a person who has had abortions in her own life and has betrayed Americans overseas, allowed 4 Americans to die in Benghazi when they asked for help and they fought for 13 hours. Don't vote her in. That would be giving in to the devil himself. And I say this very sadly, and I say this very solemnly, and I ask that God, that this, I pray and hope that this be God's will, but I can almost promise you this, that if Hillary Rodham Clinton is elected president of these United States of America, Vladimir Putin has the green light to destroy this country. I say this with great reluctance, but Russia has a mission. The mission of Russia is either peace or war. And the popes, 8 popes including Francis, have resisted obeying God's 1929 request. And so the popes themselves have said, we want war because of their inaction, and that's what we're going to get. And the Russians now have a special weapon that we do not have in America, and they're sending so many signals. They say that 100% of Moscow can now be saved through all their underground bunkers that they have built. How many Americans can be saved in Washington, D.C. or New York City? How many bunkers are built for them? None! It's outrageous that the socialists and the communists and the Muslims who've taken over our government have such a sway on the moral majority of the decent American people who just want to be left alone and do their job and raise their families in peace and tranquility. Anyway, we say to Our Lady of Fatima, we say to Our Lady of the Holy Rosary, thank you. Thank you for coming to the assistance of the sailors there on October 7, 1571, saving the Catholic fleet and helping the Catholic sailors to defeat the Muslim invasion of Europe. And we ask you through these Rosary rallies that are coming up to save America from any more evil, and give Donald John Trump and Mike Pence all the breaks they need to overcome a press that is so pro-Hillary Rodham Clinton. Thank you, Blessed Mother. Thank you. And Pope St. Pius V, he's the one who wrote Quo Primum. He said anybody who changes the Latin Tridentine Mass will incur the wrath of Saints Peter and Paul. And that's what's happened in the Catholic Church, because the fooling around with the Latin Mass, the Latin Tridentine Mass of time immemorial, was guaranteed to bring a tremendous curse by Pope St. Pius V, who confirmed his sanctity by his prophetic launching of a Rosary crusade that led to their victory today in 1571 against the Islamic attack on Europe by sea. And you Catholics, you have a lot of questions to ask. You have to go to places like traditioninaction.org and read Attila Cinque Guimarães' 11-volume series in the murky waters of Vatican II, or go to tfp.org, which I helped to found as a founding member, or go to americaneedsfatima.org, or go to nobility.org. Because I have a mission. My mission is a mission impossible. And yet, with God, all things are possible. And the mission that we have is to persuade the Holy Father, in union with all the bishops in the world, to consecrate Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary for the sake of world peace. I don't want to die in a nuclear hecatomb. Who does? But the progressive socialists, many do, because they have hideouts. They're going to hide underneath the ground, and they're part of that Georgia Guidestones group that only want 500 million to survive. They want to kill off 7 billion people so that they can come out of their shelters afterwards and hug their trees and so on and so forth. And it's outrageous that this is allowed to happen. I have to go. God bless you. God bless America. I almost forgot. We have here a comparison of the 2016 Republican and Democratic platform. This is put out by the Priest for Life. Father Frank Pavone. You can get this from priestforlife.com. Very important to see the difference between the Democratic and the Republican candidates. And so you Catholics, I say to you, what profit is it for you if you vote a bad person like Hillary Rodham Clinton, but you lose your soul in the process? Believe me, if you vote for Hillary Clinton, your chance of being saved is very, very slim indeed. Don't take the chance. Vote for Donald John Trump. And I'm speaking to about 60 million Catholics in America. Maybe 30 to 40 can vote. 40 million can vote. Do not vote for Hillary Rodham Clinton, who's killed her own babies. I have to go, and that's my phone.